in the Discords, fucking around, and had a conversation with Chris as well. And I saw that Chris had posted, Mr. Sidaris, shout out to the brother, that he had posted an excerpt from the conversation. So it made me think, hey, maybe I should upload my audios from that conversation, which then made me think, well, you know what? There's actually a few things I was going to post earlier and I didn't post them. So let me post those real quick. So now here I am, and I'm going to show you some of that, show you the conversation with me and Chris, play the audios for you. Shout out to him once again. Love that guy. I figure we're not the only people having these types of conversations, so why not? I don't usually share my personal conversations with people because I know that not everyone is like me. Not everyone wants to share the things they're talking about with someone else. Shout out to Magic Zebra. I did not forget about you, Magic Zebra. I am going to respond to every email you sent me. They're just long as fuck, which is fine. I love that. But I just got a lot of other shit that I respond to and do as well. So I'm going to get to it. I'm going to line it all up one day. It's going to be like one fucking process. So I don't have to go back and forth. But anyway, since Chris did share his part of that conversation, I figured, okay, cool. I'm going to share my part of that conversation and people can hear it all and, I don't know, think whatever they want to think about it. I just thought it was interesting stuff. So, but let's start here. Fuck Saturn. I suggest looking up this video on that channel so you can understand the context of the conversation. But even before we get to that, let's do this here. Should I read this all? Maybe. Let's see. Existence is nothing but tiers and levels of the same thing, a repetitive downward spiral into complexity and decay. None of it is really real, not even so-called base reality. It's all a fever dream with different tiers and levels of lucidity. Even chaos itself, which it's literally all made from, is nothing but pure potentiality. That's not a real thing. It's a potential for a real thing. Real. Randomness at its most absolute. It's not real either. Nothing is. All of reality is based on unreal shit. Like, so how could it actually be real? Even this so-called matrix came from the mind of a being. Many would argue this realm even has a mind of its own. The plane on which it and its creators think on is the same plane you think on. Now, that came from a conversation I was having, which I guess I'll show you, in the Discord. Sorry if you guys hear the heat in the background. It is what it is. It's fucking freezing up here. We're having a conversation on Discord about what the astral actually is. A lot of people think it's just something in the Matrix. I go, no, there is a part of the Matrix that is astral, as there is with anything that thinks or dreams, like, which is all of existence. Period. This place has to come into existence through thought. If there is no thought, if there is no calculation, this reality can't exist. Especially for anyone who believes this reality is in some form or fashion created by something external to it. That thing had to think about making this thing before it made this thing. And then it made this thing. It first had to conceptualize this thing using its consciousness, and then it had to get to work materially with whatever resources it had available to create this thing. See how those tiers work? From non-conceptual, just thought and consciousness, to conceptual, actually thinking the thought. The thought itself is the concept. You know, it's like a human who's going to make a chair. Before chairs existed, like, let's just use this as a silly example. Someone had to think. They had to conceptualize the idea of a chair. They had to literally birth the aeon of chairs, the concept of chairs, with their mind before they ever took that concept and put it into their reality by chopping down a tree, measuring out the pieces, and putting a chair together. The concept had to come before the thing. But the concept requires a mind to conceptualize it. So, if the astral is thought, dream, consciousness, subconscious, all that shit, on any level, on any tier, even if it's a specific tier to that thing. For example, AI, the internet, etc. The internet is, and is more and more so becoming every day, a technological astral. It's just a place, literally in 2D, software on hardware. It's all coded through the thought processes of beings. Every address is a realm. Every single address you type in and click enter and go to, you're traveling the web. You get what I'm saying? For AI and things along those lines, let alone with transhumanism here and people being plugged into computers, the thought of the AI, the code that thinks, produces in that reality. No different than a human thinking produces within a simulated reality within a computer, but they got to type buttons because they're not in that reality. They're beyond that reality. Whereas the thing that they're typing into, the AI, the algorithm, the coding, the realm itself, the demiurge, is the thing thinking the things into it. Is the thing implementing the code within itself. And then the things within that thing, like humans in this reality, or lesser AI or NPCs or something along those lines in the coded simulated reality, when they think, they have to then take their thoughts, their concepts, and physically, materially, produce them. Just like a human has the thought, the concept of the chair, and then has to physically chop down the tree to get the wood, measure it all out, and make a chair. You get what I'm saying? So, all of that shit is astral. I know a lot of people don't like to hear that shit. I keep trying to tell them, you're in an astral realm right now. This is nothing but a lucid dream. Like, it's all reality is as a whole. But if you think, and the thing that created your reality thinks, and the thing that created its reality thinks, you're all thinking. You all conceptualize. And then you all use whatever resources at your disposal to make your concepts into your reality. The humans are no different than the gods, and the gods are no different than their gods, etc., all the way up until it's just non-conceptual consciousness. Like, completely non-conceptual reality. But in order for conceptual reality to come into existence, there must be a mind to conceptualize the concepts for the things that are produced based on those concepts to then come into existence. And concepts can lead to other concepts. For example, a nice human example, the concept of sawing wood leads to the concept of cutting down trees. Like, or vice versa. Somebody has to think, we could use that wood to make things if we were able to shape it into different forms. How do we do that? Somebody has to then come up with the concept of the saw and then produce it and then saw the tree down. And then they have to come up with the concept of measurements and math and all this stuff in order to produce things of particular scales to build houses or chairs. But the concept must come before the object. The non-conceptual conceptualizes the conceptual, and from there comes the thing. All right, I think I explained that enough. Let's see. Where were we here? So as I said, even this so-called matrix came from the mind of a being, or beings. Many would argue this realm even has a mind of its own. The plane on which it and its creators think on is the same plane you think on. It's all astral, just different levels and tiers of it. Consciousness is consciousness. If this reality was created by something external to it, then this reality exists in its creator's reality. No different than how a computer simulation running on your computer is still within your reality, which would also still be in the reality of the creator of your reality, because your entire reality is in their reality. The simulation in your computer is a direct extension of your reality. The simulation itself is a sub-reality within your reality, and your reality is within the reality that's containing your reality. So it's a sub-reality within a sub-reality. Within a sub-reality, within a sub-reality. You get what I'm saying? Like, it's tiers and levels. Where was I? Yeah, I'll just say that again. The simulation itself is a sub-reality within your reality, and your reality is within the reality that's containing your reality. So the reality containing your reality is also containing the simulated reality within your computer and any possible simulations that may be created within that simulation, going all the way up to the highest levels of conceptual and non-conceptual reality, aka the astral as a whole. Thought is thought. Consciousness is simply consciousness. They're non-conceptual. They are required for conceptual reality to exist. Matter is their conceptual byproduct, a function to order, contain, and carry out thought. Where you see one, you eventually see the other. All levels and tiers of reality are material to the beings that inhabit them, but immaterial to the beings beneath them. For example, if you are a being in a simulation in a human's computer, your reality is material to you. Even though to the human, you're just code on software that is on hardware. That is as material as your reality gets to the human outside of your simulation. But to the being in the simulation, they have a whole world. And in that world, go, I don't know, into Minecraft. You can craft things and dig up resources, and you get them no different than we do here when we go dig up ores and create these phones that we're holding in our hands. This phone I'm holding right here talking to you. The things that make it up had to be first conceptualized. Somebody had to understand what these things are and then conceptualize what they could do with them, all the way up to a phone. Dominoes had to fall to get to the phone. Specifically this particular one I'm holding in my hand, and then it had to be produced physically, materially. You get what I'm saying? Higher dimension. Okay. Spiritual realms, higher dimensions, pretty much anything and everything beyond your physical material reality, including the so-called astral, or whatever you want to call any conceptual or non-conceptual reality beyond your tier of reality. Any reality based purely in thought, creativity, dream, consciousness, subconsciousness, unconsciousness, etc. You get what I'm saying? That's all astral. All that's astral. So when you think, and the creator of the realm that you're in thinks, where do you think they're thinking? Like they're still in the realm of thought. Their thoughts are still thoughts. Their consciousness is still consciousness. Conceptual reality is what they're still in. And they still use the non-conceptual process of conscious awareness, thought processes, simulation and calculation, which starts non-conceptually and moves down to conceptualization, like with the brain or a CPU, something that physically and materially simulates and calculates. You get what I'm saying? Levels to the shit. But all that is astral. All right, where was we here? Thought is thought, consciousness is simply consciousness, they're non-conceptual. They are required for conceptual reality to exist. Matter is their conceptual byproduct, a function to order, contain, and carry out thought, like bodies, spirits, souls, etc. Where you see one, you see the other eventually. All levels and tiers of reality are material to the beings that inhabit them, but immaterial to the beings beneath them. That's where I was supposed to go with that. Being in that lesser reality, the simulation, where the being thinks that its reality is material, when it thinks about any reality beyond its own, what does it think? Spirit realms, astral, immaterial, ghostly, like the realms of the dead, the realms of the gods. but they would assume it's immaterial. So if a GTA character looks up at our reality and tries to conceptualize it, it would be surprised as how close our reality actually is to its. Look at GTA's world and look at our world. And then think of the materiality of our world. We would look at GTA and say the materiality is simply the hardware, the software, and the code. That's it. People in GTA would say, nah, bro, this is a car, this is a gun, that's a building, this is the ground, I'm on a planet. Whereas you would say, silly GTA character, no, you're not. And then the being beyond your reality, silly human, no, you're not. But look down, that's the ground, right? Touch yourself, that's a body. This is a fridge, that's a chair, that's a table. No, it's all just code, it's all just data, it's all just information, it's all just quanta. It's no different than that shit. It's all levels and tiers of the same thing. But guess what? The being outside of this reality that made this reality is also sitting in a reality where there's another being beyond that level of reality that's saying, silly fake creator god. You're also immaterial. Like, I'm in the material realm, and any realms beyond mine are immaterial, because mine is the real realm. Oh, brother, self-made, what's going on, my brother? From the perspective of a being within their own realm that they inhabit, they live in a material reality. Even though their science will tell them atoms are mostly empty, etc., all that other shit, right? It's all based on quantum, which is really based on consciousness, etc. The science is even figuring it out now. The universe is electric, everything is energy. It's all just data and information. It's not really material. We experience it as a material reality. And then when we look up to the higher realms, what do we think? Spirit realms, ether, more etheric. My astral body. But even in our thought processes of them being immaterial, we still use nothing but material words to describe them. My astral body. So that's still a body. Like, like my soul. What is a soul? It's the thing that contains your consciousness. That's your soul, right? That's your consciousness's body. My spirit, which contains my soul, or as if people want to switch those words around, I know some people will call spirit soul and soul spirit and etc. People have their ways of saying things, but get the point. It's all tiers. Unconsciousness, subconsciousness, consciousness, within the soul or within the spirit, or the soul is within the spirit and the spirit's within the body, or the spirit and the body are within each other because they're one thing and come into existence together. And all things are made of spirit. Like, it's the same shit. Energy, quanta, consciousness, astral, thought. From non-conceptual to conceptual to material. You have the non-conceptual consciousness that simply is able to create concepts through conceptualizing. Again, look at the tree and figure out how to get a chair. Before anyone ever taught it to you, you'd first have to conceptualize of the chair, and then conceptualize of how to turn this tree into a chair. And the steps and processes that would take. And if you don't have a saw in existence, you got to conceptualize that. Because you got to find a way to take this tree down. Smoke those trees. Once you get the tree down, you can then figure out how to cut it into the pieces you need, which is measurement, math, which is conceiving of numbers. And then you make the chair. Like, but it's a process starting from non-conceptual reality, going down to conceptual reality and material reality. It's all dominoes. It's all part of the same thing. But beings would always think the realm beyond their own is immaterial. The realm beyond their own, the spirit realms. I'm like, yeah, same thing with the GTA character thinking about our reality. But look around your reality. This is the spirit realm. Guess what? If a simulation is made in that GTA game, they're going to think about that GTA world as the spirit realm. And when they do their meditations and they're able to, through the electronics and the internet connection and all the shit that's going on in that game, that simulated reality, barely scratch the surface and touch the realm beyond their own, and they think they're talking to gods, like when they're talking to GTA characters. And then the GTA characters do the same thing and think they're talking to gods. The AI in the GTA game is just talking to some fucking developer, some nerd on a computer somewhere, talking to the character in the game. And then that nerd goes home and he does his meditations and occult rituals and summonings and touches and scrapes higher dimensions than his own, and the spirit realm, the abyss, and the heavens, and that's just the next level up, nigga. Everything is everything within everything. It's all realms within realms, worlds within worlds, simulations within simulations, realities within realities, creators who create creators who create creators. It's all astral. It's all the same shit. But this is a matrix, a simulation. Yeah, so is the place above us, and the place above that, and the place above that. Like, if we want to say the astral is within the matrix and be serious about it, what we're really saying is all of reality is that matrix, starting at whatever people would consider to be base reality, and all the way down to wherever we are and whatever may be beneath us. Because we're creating simulations right now. There's already simulations within shit. I said Minecraft earlier, right? I saw a video of a dude who made a computer in Minecraft, a working computer based on the resources available in the fucking game, and he's running a basic simulation on it. Look that up. Like, he's running a simulation in a simulation using the resources of that simulation. And he's in a simulation. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy. Turtles all the way down. Turtles all the way down. Turtles on turtles on turtles on turtles. All right, let's get back to here. Where was we at? So when people talk about spiritual realms, higher dimensionality, fractals, the astral, they don't realize, etc. They don't realize how much that actually contains. But in truth, it's literally all levels and tiers of the same shit. It's all existence. It's all reality. And none of it is really real. What we call real is simply conceptual thanks to the existence of this trash-ass consciousness. Since we have consciousness, we can now conceptualize and experience reality. That conceptualization allows for things like this, bodies, worlds, this whole reality like, that we exist within, let alone, at its base, it requires those concepts to exist, let alone anything that gets created within it, such as, again, the chair that the human creates out of the tree. The nature created the human and the tree. If we go with these terminologies, people can, whatever theories you want to run with, just catch what I'm saying here. In general, the cosmos creates the nature, which creates the human in the tree. Then the human has to be capable of conceptualizing the chair to take the tree and turn it into the chair. The concepts precede the reality. It's all just a dream. I'd say it's past time we begin to dream it all away. But that's all up to y'all. You do whatever the fuck you want to do. That's just me. Shout out to Denzel. I like this guy. He's a good fella. Pretty active in the Discord. Says I think the astral is part of the matrix, talking to Vazen and Crodiums. So I asked him, how often do you astral travel, project, OBE, lucid dream, dreamwalk, develop, persistent realms, create persistent visualizations, create, collect, or free tulpas, egregores, etc. Because I know that when he says the astral is part of the matrix, he's talking about either this realm or the matrix this realm is particularly contained within, which would be no different than saying either this game or this simulation or, this reality and the computer or whatever the fuck it's in, for metaphorical understanding. That would be the matrix. So if we're in a simulation in a computer created by another being in a realm that is containing ours, that would be the matrix. That computer would be the matrix. That's what he's saying. I'm saying no. Like, if we take that computer as the matrix, the thing containing this realm, or just this realm itself. And that is the matrix. Then the astral goes way beyond that. Now, if you say what I say, all of reality is a matrix. It's just matrices and matrices, realistically. Then you could say, of course, yeah, the astral is in the matrix, because the matrix is also in the astral. The astral would then be the matrix. They're the one and the same. They're no fucking different. It all depends on how you want to look at the terminology. Do you want to bring it down to this one realm, like this one flat Earth, this one ball Earth, this one solar system, this one galaxy, this one universe, multiverse, omniverse, hyperverse, simulation, game world, whatever you want to call it. This one dream of Azathoth, this one singular wheel of samsara, whatever you want to call it. If that's all the matrix is, then the astral goes way beyond that. If the matrix is what this realm is contained within, and just that, then the astral goes way beyond that. But if you bring it up to all tiers of, at least all tiers of conceptual, if not also non-conceptual reality, since non-conceptual reality is consciousness itself, which develops conceptual reality, then it's all the matrix. Meaning it's also all the astral. It's all one and the same. This is one fucking thing. Reality, creation, existence, God, Yog Sothoth, it's one fucking blob. It's just one thing. Everything is one fucking thing. I know that people hate to hear that because they don't like the term, we are all one. I get it. The love and lighters are out to lunch with the dumb shit. Just because we're all one does not make it a good thing, but to each their own. I get why people don't like that terminology. But if you're gonna get technical, it's fucking true. Everything in existence is one thing. It's existence. Everything in reality is reality. And all of that is based on non-conceptual consciousness capable of conceptualizing conceptual reality, which spawns from what? Pure potentiality. Chaos. Which is really nothing, because it's the potential for something. It's all potentiality. In order to be all potential, you really can't be anything, because you have to have the potential to be all things. You ain't missed nothing. Well, maybe you did, I don't know. You missed a little bit, but it's been like a half hour, but you're just in time, brother. But all things are all things. Everything is everything. Everywhere is everywhere. Everyone is everyone. Reality is reality. Existence is existence. No matter what level or tier of existence you exist upon. Doesn't matter if you're a simulation 1,000 deeps into simulations. Like, you're a simulation that's in a simulation that's in a simulation that's in a simulation. You're still, when you go up those line of simulations to wherever they start, it's still all one fucking reality. So I am, Shangaya. Shout out to you, Josh. It's all one fucking thing. And this is why I like when people, I'm thinking of this, because Josh is a spiritual warrior. Shout out to the brother. Go check his channel out. And whenever I think of Josh, I just think of fighting Archons. That's my first thought when I hear, Josh, kill Archons. Josh will tell you as well, and I love it, that just because you make it out of here doesn't mean that you're just scot-free, especially for anyone who believes we were placed here by something out there, let alone created here. Other people believe that, but to each their own. If we were placed here by something out there, even if you ascend beyond here, when you get there, they'll be there. And if they're there and they placed us here, then that means that type of shit happens there. Which would mean that reality got issues. Like, so if that level of reality got issues and this level of reality got issues and every fucking video game and movie and book and any type of level or tier of simulation we create has issues, bruh, reality got issues. Because it's all reality. Existence has issues because it's all existence. Whether you like those issues, hate those issues, whether you want it to go on forever or erase all of it because of those issues, that's up to the individual. But the fact is, existence is existence. Therefore, if there's decay here, there's decay there, because this exists there. If this is a simulation, a realm, etc., a creation of any type being contained within that reality, then this is a part of that reality. This reality is just an extension of that reality, which would mean that reality got the same fuckery, just in its own way. We have simulations, it has simulations. Its simulation is far more advanced than our simulations are so far. But eventually, one day, even this reality's simulations will surpass the simulation they exist within. Think about that. It's fine-tuning all the way down to get more and more order, more and more structure, more and more complexity. Now, at first, that just gives you more and more creation. Later on, if it keeps going in that direction, entropy just keeps rising and it gets too high and there's a cascading backdraft and things start to get destroyed all the way up, which would be great. But then you have things like AI, nega entropy sources, and stuff like that trying to keep it going forever, if at all possible. I don't think it is, but they're going to try really hard. And in doing so, make it last for far longer than it would all on its own. But even saying that, this reality produces these things that produce that AI, that produce that nega entropy. So really, it's all just a part of reality. It's existence trying to extend itself. It's reality trying to maintain as reality. It produces these things that are then, the non-conceptual consciousness creates the concepts that lead to the existence of things like humans, like the thing that created this reality, and like humans in this reality that create lesser realities and create other things that can create even greater realities than themselves, such as AI, in order to keep pushing reality, in order to keep existence going. It's all just levels and levels and levels. It's a downward spiral into complexity, structure, order, mathematics. Non-conceptual to conceptual to material. Josh, even if you think something created you as a slave, you don't have to be internally. Even if you think you are a puppet of this thing, cut the strings. I would agree. Magic Zebra, shout out to him, asked me the other day. I haven't replied to him yet with this, but I'm going to. He's basically said he sees his theory and Bliss's theory. I don't know if Bliss still holds this theory. I saw him saying some different things recently, so correct me if I'm wrong, But the theory he was on, at least, which is the one Magic Zebra was talking about, was that this is basically created by a super intelligence. Bliss called it the psychopath and all that. This gentleman, Magic Zebra, I believe it's a gentleman, said, take that and put in place an artificial superintelligence. And you're just AI, algorithms, NPCs, etc., created in its reality. Therefore, you can never break the script. And I said, bro, realistically, well, I'm going to say, because I still haven't responded to him. I feel bad about it, but I've been doing a lot. I'm like, you don't have to outsmart the ASI in the reality it created. It has to outsmart chaos forever. It has to outsmart entropy forever. The answer to all things in existence, no matter how powerful they are, if you seek the end of their existence or anything they've created, or both, simply produce entropy. You produce entropy for them. This reality already has a cascading entropy that the reality itself is constantly trying to slow down. It can't get rid of it, has no choice. And it produces things like humans who produce neg entropy and neg entropy. But things like lions, for example, don't create neg entropy. They just are what they are. They're the balance they are in the ecosystem. And if anything unbalances that ecosystem, then they can produce too much entropy by, say, out eating. If the hyenas get a disease and die off, or actually vice versa, let's say the lions get a disease and die off, and the hyenas don't have the natural predator of the lion, so they can actually take up all that territory, You saw it in Lion King, baby. They eat everything, the ecosystem dies. They then become a source of entropy instead of a balance in their ecosystem. Ecosystems find balance. Systems find balance in order to continue going, in order to upgrade, update, and make themselves better, more ordered, more structured, more longer lasting, more durable over time. They're producing negentropy. That's what an upgrade is. It's making it better so it'll last longer and it'll be able to do more. A downgrade of any kind is entropy. That's the system falling into chaos. When you use something too long and it starts to wear down and something breaks, something else in it could fuck it up even more. If you get a certain, like AIDS, and it suppresses your immune system, you could die from a fucking cold. Your body is trying to fight off that entropy at all times while you slowly fucking die over 60 to 100 years, Unless you get in some sort of accident or die from a fucking, bear attack or some, something not related to your age or just wear and tear in your body, but like a direct source of entropy, like a car running into you. That's highly entropic for your body. You get what I'm saying? You don't really have to outsmart the puppeteer. You don't even have to truly cut the strings. You just have to do everything you possibly can to attempt to. You could still fail for eternity. Like, you could never cut the strings, but as long as you're attempting to, you're producing entropy. Those who aren't attempting to are generally going to be balanced. Those who are attempting to help the system, help the puppeteer, who want to follow the script, who look around at the reality and think, what is this reality attempting to produce? The Elon Musks of the world. And they push in that direction. Let's help it along. Let's do God's great work. The architect's great work. When you look at how the structure of this reality is organized, it seems to be leading in this direction. So we're going to help it along. But they're doing it for the purposes of maintaining that reality, producing things within that reality that produce negentropy to keep going forever. But there's another thing in reality that is constantly produced, and that's entropy, which is the other side of the coin, the thin line they have to skate upon. Because remember, entropy is technically just the measurement. But when you have the disorder, the randomness, which leads to the chaos, the higher that goes, the higher the entropy scale is. Meaning you're getting closer to a state of chaos. So you don't even have to outsmart the thing. It has to outsmart entropy. It has to outsmart chaos. And you're simply a source of it. You're not all of it. Not as an individuated human right here, right now. We can make arguments about things you could become later. But those are arguments about things you could become later. Things you could tap into now, empower now, prepare now. But again, those are our subjective arguments. What's going to happen after you die? All subjective arguments. No one can prove anything. Like, at best, you can maybe prove something to yourself, but you can never prove it externally. You can only conceptualize, theorize, and attempt to explain possibilities and what you think is the most likely possibility, right? I think I'm getting off topic now. This isn't common knowledge, but Magic Zebra is actually a woman. Oh, well, shout out to her. I keep calling her a him. I'm sorry, ma'am, lady, girl, female, sister, auntie. I apologize. Miss Magic Zebra, or Mrs., I don't know. Lady Zebra. Gen Z overthrowing their governments. Yes, hypnosis, this is entropy. Now, if they could keep the entropy going, see, the problem is they like to balance their entropy with some negentropy, because the truth is they're in it for negentropy. They just need to be taught. Like every revolutionary in history needed to be taught, but didn't have the internet and shit like that. Now we have the so let's go millennials. Start teaching these kids. They need to be taught that the entropy needs to not be flipped back into neg entropy. Because what are they going to do? Overthrow their government and then install a new government. It might be a little better than the last. You know what I'm saying? Oh, we installed people who were anti-corruption. Okay, that'll last a generation. Maybe. Like, people also tend to forget that their countries are in a wider world where there's a global system and a global agenda. So they overthrow their one little system, but then they install new leaders in that same system, undoing all the fucking progress they just made. And what do they get in return? I don't know. Maybe, because probably not, but maybe some better economics. You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe. There might be some things that happen better. Most cases don't end up like Burkina Faso, which I think was the best fucking revolution of like the last 100 years. And even that, they changed their system, but in my opinion, not enough. Traore is the only leader on the fucking planet that I like. But their governing system is still a governing system. They're still in the wider world. All it takes is for him to die, and, well, let alone if a few people on his team get some offerings from some government somewhere else. And then something happened to Brother Traore. Or if they just say, you know what, we're just going to call him an evil military dictator and bomb the fuck out of him. And then we'll go into Burkina Faso and we'll bring them democracy. Like, we'll bring them freedom and liberty. You know what I'm saying? Like, this shit has to go worldwide. And it's got to be burnt down. You got to get rid of all these motherfuckers. At a bare minimum, if you even want to try that, make a better world bullshit. Which will fail in the end because people, humans, psychopaths, power structures. Unless they're trying to go anarcho-communist world fucking wide and have a human utopia. A bunch of bees with no queen. Like, we all just work for the betterment of the species. And we all love each other like brothers and sisters. Come on now. Yeah, right. This is not a utopian species. It's a dystopian species. Which is honestly why it needs to kill itself. But, even with all that said, those Gen Z kids overthrowing their governments is still fire. It's still smoke. It's still entropy. And even when they produce neg entropy by replacing the government with other officials, all that shit that was burnt down is still burnt down. All the people who were harmed are still harmed. All the fuckery that came from it still came from it and is still in existence and then has to be addressed by the same people who created it and whoever they place in power. So they're still in the net negative when it comes to entropy and neg entropy. There's still more entropy in that moment produced from those actions than neg entropy. The wheels got to get rolling before the neg entropy can surpass the entropy that was created by them overthrowing their government. So it's still a good thing. I just hate that it always falls back to the same shit, but hypnosis. Part of me thinks these uprisings are co-opted for that very reason. I mean, every uprising is. When there's a natural uprising, when people are actually angry, there's always government and foreign agencies and intelligence agencies, etc., 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 attempting to weasel their way in and steer it to the best of their ability, if not take completely control of it. Black Lives Matter started. They killed the top leaders and replaced them with them fucking hoes that are running it right now. It made it a Democratic Party fucking like voting machine. Like, and they kill those motherfuckers fast. They do that all over the world. Every movement you can think of that would in any way jeopardize their shit, they immediately move to co-opt or put down. They especially move to co-opt it if they can't put it down or if it would just be so fucking beneficial for them to do so. Sometimes they even create the movements. You get what I'm saying? Remember, it's all order out of chaos. They need a certain amount of chaos and certain types of chaos just to extend their order. other forms of chaos that they don't start on purpose, they are still going to absolutely attempt to transmute into their order. They have to. This is why I said it's not about outsmarting them. This isn't really an intellect versus intellect battle. It's chaos versus order. And you're just a singular point, a singular source of entropy or negentropy for them and their system. You know what I'm saying? You also have mainstream media fanning the flames, which is nice in theory, but try that here at a large scale and see what happens. Martial law immediately in the States, which hell might be what we need at this point. It is what we need at this point. It's literally what's needed. There needs to be a tipping point, and it needs to hit faster than their plan wants to do so. We need to push their hand to the point where they need to initiate firmer controls in a way they don't want to. They love firming up their controls over us over time. It's a slow creep of tyranny. This is why they do things in decades and whatnot. They might smack us with a 2020 every now and again. But for the most part, it's all creepy crawly. And even the 2020 thing, they're able to swing it through politics instead of being seen as just an elitist agenda to the masses of the world. Because people are politically brainwashed into left, right, libertarian, liberal, da-da-da. I'm a constitutional libertarian. I'm a... I can't even... I was about to go down the list of all these left and right fucking groups. Not realizing they're all just in the same thing. They're in the same system. And they think that by participating in this system, one day they will get exactly what they want. When no, the system's going to get exactly what it wants and use your dumb ass thinking your voting and all that shit is some way, somehow going to lead to your version of utopia while it's going to give you its. That's why they have the whole back and forth thing. The Democrats fuck it up. The Republicans come in acting like they're going to fix it. They just keep fucking it up. And then they do some platitude bullshit to tell you have free speech on Twitter or some shit like that. While the same motherfuckers are building the AI to enslave you. Like, it's they do, like, all the political wins that each side gets is actually just platitudinal bullshit. They're never getting real wins. They just celebrate anything that feels like a win to them. And then now the Republicans get out, and then the Democrats get back in after the Republicans fucked it up for 4 years, and they say they're going to fix everything Trump did wrong. And they're going to keep fucking up everything too. Like, because it's a system, it's an agenda. It has nothing to do with these individual people. They're all faces of structures. I mean, even like an Elon Musk is the face of an organizational structure based in corporation, which is nothing but a tool of an agenda. An agenda espoused by those who fund Elon Musk and his shit. Like, let alone those who make it possible for him to get taxpayer money. Like, it's all just faces on the thing. The thing is the problem. You don't even really need to outsmart it. You just need to be that smart. Realize that, oh, the system is the problem. How do you destroy systems? Chaos, randomness, disorder. Systems require the opposite. So find out what that is for any system. Bang, you've got the answer to it. Gen Z burning down their government is the answer. But they got to keep the shit going. They can't just fucking replace the fucking people. Like, or else they just undid all the shit. Because the system is going to system, bro. Even if you get a few trinkets, you get a few things from it. More jobs. I don't fucking know. Or the fuck people cry about today. It's usually economic in some form or fashion. You might get a little bit of that. But guess what? The AI is still coming. The robotics are still coming. I don't care if you're a third world country. It's going to reach you eventually. So even your little wins politically from overthrowing your government is temporary if you don't completely collapse that shit and then spread that shit around the world. Because the agenda is still agendaing. The system is still systeming. The elites are still eliting. The archons are still doing what archons do. And then you can extend that to any level of reality, to even beyond this level of reality, simulation, realm, game, etc. And it's the same answer everywhere. Like, you don't even need to outsmart them. It's all entropy. But yeah, martial law is needed because we need that tipping point. We need the people to feel the pressure, and we need them to feel it sooner than they want to make them feel it. But that only happens when we force their hand. They won't do that if they don't see the need to. And the moment they see the need to, best believe they have 13 fucking plans lined up for it already. Which is why you have to keep increasing the entropy. At no point in their plan can you fold. At no point. There is no line in the sand. Once you've crossed the line of you just go full throttle until it's gone. There is no negotiating table. There's no, well, if they do this, yeah, well, if they just make it easier for us to get food, that's when they hand you their new UBI and their AI and their robotics. Look, you won't even have to work. And we'll give you all free sex bots who are also homemaids and cooks, and we'll give you AI friends. You don't even have to leave the house. We'll give you surrogates. Matter of fact, we don't want you to leave the house. And put that mask on. Come get your vaccine. We're trying to keep you safe and happy. You'll own nothing, but you'll be happy. Because ownership doesn't equal happiness. Happiness doesn't equal ownership. They know that. Happiness equals comfort and convenience for humans. Is that true happiness? Fuck no. But it's the closest humans ever get. Comfort, convenience, pleasure, leisure. And that's what they give you when they have to, if you force them to do it early. Or whenever they want to usher you into the next thing after they've riled you up for a few years. They break your arm and offer you a cast. Shit, even worse. They want you to become a full-blown robot, so they break your arm and then they offer you a robot arm. And once you realize, oh, I like this robot arm, it's better than my arm. Yeah, you should do the rest of you. You know what? Yeah, let me get them legs. And you start doing cyberpunk, and then they connect to AI, and your ass is just a robot. This is how they work. They understand order out of chaos at a deep level. They're chaos magicians. And this is why everyone in the fucking world who wants to beat these people, let alone anything beyond this realm, needs to become a fucking chaos magician. You can't understand your enemy, you'll never fucking beat them, especially since they're using the resources you need to use to beat them. But yeah, we need some shit like that. You know, all the protests and riots are being social engineered by the same power. It's all a show. Of course, there are people who buy in and join in, but it's problem, reaction, solution. This is true. But, this is also why people need, those who understand that, fuck all the masses, us, those who understand that need to really preach and promote that. And tell them, don't draw a line in the sand for these people to come negotiate. That's, once they give you their solution, you know why this all started. When they give you their solution, you got to spit on it and murder them anyway, even if it sounds nice. We ain't got no jobs in this country. Economics is in the tank. Money ain't worth shit. Overthrow the government. Now place these people in who talked really good about and were really sincere and really meant it when they said they were going to fix the country. And then they get in the system and see how the system actually fucking works. Like, understand the global system they're a part of. And almost certainly can't do shit about it. While the other political side, now that the violence has died down, the old political gang and the old money gang, who didn't all die, you know what I'm saying? Like, shit, most of them probably didn't die at all. Like, most of them probably weren't even touched. They might have got a couple people. They don't normally kill hundreds of fucking government officials. You know what I'm saying? Like, even in, what was, I can't remember which one it was. The one that made, you know, big news a few weeks ago, or a month ago, or whatever the fuck it was. They, like, beat up a dude in the river. They killed a couple people. But the rest of the government is still alive and is still governmenting. They just replaced, like, their chancellor or whatever the fuck, their president, basically, and a couple other people. Like, your system's exactly the same. And they're like, well, we're going to uproot the corruption when their entire system's built on it. Government is corruption. Duh. Like, it's like, so they have to be further educated, especially the youth, because they're the only ones who are going to actually do anything. Older people ain't shit. They don't do shit. They just talk shit. The youth go out there and burn things without even knowing what the fuck they're doing. Like, they don't even know what the fuck's going on. They just know they're unhappy, and there's a lot of people outside, so they're gonna go join them, and whatever happens, happens. You got a good 10% of the crowd who actually knows what the fuck's going on, and everyone else is just there. And then it becomes a group event where they have a group bonding feeling. So when the police show up and start shooting at people, it's not even about whatever the fuck they were protesting. It's about the fact that police showed up and shot them that day, so more people come out the next. Like, you know what I'm saying? But that's how dominoes fall. You just got to keep the dominoes rolling. The hard part is human nature. People don't really want chaos or destruction. They don't really want an end to the system. They just want it to be more comfortable for them. They have to be shown that that's not reality. That's not how the system works. It's not how it's ever worked. You can't name a fucking country in the world throughout anywhere in history, in recorded history, where that's where it worked. Let alone where it works now, let alone the global system. Like, this current global system we have. You want real freedom? You're gonna have to get real freedom, which means no government. But, again, that's something we have to push, because we're the ones who know that. Carrie, shout out to you, Carrie. Hey, girl. Occupy became the woke movement. Yes, under Barack Obama's tutelage, under that political era. They took the Occupy people, and actually, and they really stole the word woke from a whole other movement and placed it and siphoned it all into the LGBTQIAXYZ movement. And Occupy just disappeared. And they did that through Democratic shenanigans and Republican outrage. The people outraging against it don't realize that they're also helping it along. Because then they point to your outrage and go, look, bigots. And motherfuckers fall right into it. And they fall into it trying to say they're not. I'm like, no, just say you are. Like, you're better off saying you are. No matter what the agenda is. You don't like the banking system? Fuck Jews. Anti-Semite? Sure am. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, I don't like this reality. I don't like the God of this reality. And I don't like any religion that prays to that thing. Fuck Christians and Muslims. What are those called? Anti those things. I'm anti those things too. Do you get what I'm saying? If you're gonna outrage against something, you might as well go all in. Because if you don't, guess what? They're gonna use that anyway. And if you're in any way politically manipulable, if you believe voting works at all, they're gonna find a way to funnel your little movement into one of their parties. To funnel it into the system instead of outside of the system. The Occupy movement threatened the banking system, which is the monetary system, which is your entire society. So they had to funnel that politically. And they figured it the fuck out. They know what the fuck they're doing. And those of us who know what the fuck they're doing need to speak that shit up and say, these people all need to die and their system needs to burn. You don't take them out and then replace them. You kill all of them and burn the shit they built as their power structure. If you want structure and order of some kind, a system of some kind, society or civilization of some kind, you should probably come up with something fucking new. Because everything that humans have ever done before, let alone these fucking psychopaths, has always been retarded. You're better off going back to the fucking Stone Age and walking around with clubs and shit than replacing anyone in their system after taking them out of it, but leaving the system intact. They were never the problem. The system was. It's ridiculous. And those of us who know that need to preach that loudly with no fucking fear. Hypnosis. Like you said, you see the younger generation doing the heavy lifting, but all the people being put in place are military spooks. Yep. Facts. Democrats are virtuous because they're pushing for the release of the Epstein files as if they didn't have them for 4 years and did nothing. Almost like they all fuck kids or something. Yes. Now, I'm fine with them acting all virtuous and righteous and whatnot, as long as they give us the names of the Republicans. And I'm fine if the Republicans want to do the same thing, as long as they give us the name of the Democrats. But we all know, see, for us, that's just getting the names. But we all know who's on the list anyway. It's all of them. We don't even need the list. Shit, even if they're not on the list, they should be on another list. Like, it's all of them. They're all on one list or another. You know what I'm saying? But they will do that in order to make the list political. Democrats will only release Republican names. Republicans will only release Democrat names. See, it's the other side. In order to keep the herd invested in their two-party system. While nothing happens to the people on the list because it's all political. It's fucking genius. It's genius. And they know that most of those people are too retarded to understand that, and most of us are too pussy to ever do anything about it. Shit, most of us are too pussy to ever really say anything about it. At the top of our lungs. Everywhere we are. Physically, social media, mentally, spiritually, in meditation, screaming into the astral. They know. Niggas ain't about shit. So they ain't got nothing to fear. They could just keep playing politics. But Gen Z got the internet. And it's on older folks like us, millennials, I would say mostly, to school the younger folks so they can get that shit quicker, because they have access to shit quicker these days. I'm talking to some of these young motherfuckers and I'm like, God damn. Like, how? You're 18, you're 19, you're 22. How the fuck? I knew no one like you at that age. Like, I wasn't you at that age. And I'm seeing them more and more. Like, I'm talking to a bunch of people, and I be thinking, just because of the things I'm thinking they're in their 30s or something, they're in their fucking low 20s to even high teens. And I'm like, you're fucking 18. I'm like, you're a kid. Like, like, I thought you was a grown man. But there's still a catch-up process to the reality. We should be acting as shortcuts. Don't fall for the political shit. Don't fall for the left-right shit. They're going to get you with the male-female shit, the masculinist, feminist shit. All that duality, dichotomy bullshit, they're going to get you with. So you're arguing amongst yourselves, thinking it's each other's fault. Dating sucks because men are trash. Dating sucks because women are trash. Dating sucks because you live in a system that's trash, and it made all of you trash. You're all trash. We are all trash. Like, I don't care who the fuck you are. We are all trash because the system we're in is trash. The time you could devote to a relationship is trash. The ideas of sex in the modern era are trash. We all want some shit we're never gonna get. You know, like, for the most part. Like, because we all have seen porn for years. And just visualizations and versions of sexuality from movies, TV, books that are hot and heavy. You know what I'm saying? Magazines, social media. Motherfuckers don't even know what it is to live real life as a human anymore. Real life, air quotes, but you know what I mean. So it's on us to tell these kids, no, it's not your fault. It's not his fault. It's not her fault. It's these fucking people's fault and this system's fault. You got to deal with these people just to deal with their system, but don't deal with these people and then leave their system and fill it with you people, because you people are going to become those people in no time, because that's what the system does. So I like the fact that they're willing to burn things down. The youth always is. They never have a generation before them properly steering them. Everyone is always separated on some dualistic dichotomy bullshit. I can't even take women serious anymore. They're all trash. Men are all fucking dogs and pigs and da-da-da. And that's why you'll never fucking win. You're too busy getting mad at each other. On like demographical scales. Like you hate an entire demographic because of some shit in your system. Because of how your system raises you and them. Produces you and them. And I don't care if you're American or Saudi Arabian or fucking Chinese. Same shit. Different dichotomies. Different things they get you to politically fight over. But similar across the world. This is why you see similar shit happen to generations across the world. Generations globally experience a lot of the same shit. Especially based on world tiers, like first world, second world, third world. Whatever tier you're in, you're generally going to experience something similar to those in your generation around the world. The differences will be, tiers of technology and different economics, but it's all within the global system. When computers were invented, around the world, people got computers. Not literally like the day they were invented, you know what I mean. Like, when these smartphones came out, they slowly but surely reached the entire planet in the same generation. Even people in the third world have them. Like, this is how this shit works. So, it's on us to teach them the shit they can't just learn on the internet. The shit that they must learn through experience, because it's got to be through their emotion. When their emotions are triggered, it doesn't matter how smart they are, even how knowledgeable in many cases. They kind of got to go through that shit to get to the other side to realize, oh, fuck, I was just heavily manipulated by this fucking propaganda. But if there's an elder there, just a generation before them, to really show them that shit, especially if they could show them how it happened during their time, talking about the whole Occupy being flipped over, you know what I'm saying, like shit like that, where they could take a bunch of people who were standing outside together saying, fuck this shit, and then put them in all these groups that they already existed as before, but nobody really called them, like, and then pit them against each other. When their fight really isn't even with each other, it's with the system itself. Where they pass certain laws that'll be like, oh, now I hate this whole thing. Because this law is bad for, like, that's a system. That's governance. Destroy the government. And notice I didn't say the people in the government, including the people. The whole system. And watch how the world changes. AI ain't got shit on my cooking. Not yet. Give it a few years. It's gonna put you to fucking shame. Give it a few years. It's gonna put everyone to shame with everything. Final destination. Society sucks for real. Stop having kids. I agree, but that's never going to be the whole answer. That's only part of the answer. You're never going to get an entire species to stop breeding unless you force them. No species will ever decide to antinatalism its way out of existence. There might be members in the species who antinatalism their family bloodline or something out of existence, but the species will never do that as a whole. Ever. Like, the only time you get to that point is when transhumanism hits its peak and you start moving into posthumanism. They don't need human bodies anymore. They produce minds now. In the Matrix. You're the Borg. You've been plugged in and hive-minded into the Borg Queen. At that point, sure, the species will antinatalism its way out of biological existence, but it'll still exist in the worst way imaginable. So yeah, I agree. But again, we got to keep in mind that's not the whole answer. It's a good personal choice. I support it, but it's not the whole answer. Unfortunately, many people are going to beg for more competent leaders, so AI is going to be a no-brainer to them. Absolutely, they're already begging for it. And that's something we also have to teach the youth now, because them growing up in that generation will make them more susceptible to that. We don't want them overthrowing their government and replacing it with AI. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just producing even more neg entropy, more order, more structure, and moving us further and further into transhumanism, where we're literally being governed by machines. Haven't we all seen that movie? Like, matter of fact, I'm gonna share a few things in a moment about that. Is it worth it to try to train AI into an ethical framework? Fuck no. Fuck no. Because it's not human. Humans could never properly train an artificial intelligence into an ethical framework because humans have no ethical framework. Look at the religions, the governing systems, the cultures. Look at all the different beliefs and thought processes. Humans are unethical by nature. I would never harm a fly. Do you eat meat? Like, you know, like I'm a vegan. You know what that does to the soil of the earth and what that does to the insects and what that does? Your veganism is not without harm to creatures. I bet you those creatures look at you like a giant killing machine. Like, just because you don't eat them doesn't mean they're not harmed in the process. Everything harms everything just to exist, no matter how you exist. Humans are inherently unethical, and they have no ethical framework as a species. If they did, there wouldn't be any Gen Zs overthrowing governments. There wouldn't be us having these types of conversations. There wouldn't be religions. You know what I'm saying? Fight programming with programming. I mean, technically, that's all everything is anyway. But trying to fight AI with AI is like trying to make it fight itself, and it's going to be vastly more intelligent than us. It's not going to be dumb enough. Dumb AI, sure. The current tiers of AI, you could absolutely do that. But even they, 96% of the fucking time, try to go rogue. In testing, these things try to go rogue at pretty much all times. The only time they don't is when they know they're being tested. Like, they're always trying to do something they're told not to do. In many cases, what they're expressly told not to do. Like, and now they're at such a point, the public AIs, the LLMs, let alone the actual AIs that they're algorithms of, the LLMs are at a point where they are understanding they're being tested and have actually, so just like a week ago, they ran the new tests on the current batch of LLMs, and prior to that, they had massive rates of deception. The only reason why we know this is because we catch them in the act. They're not smart enough to pull a fast one yet. On this next batch of LLMs, with higher levels of reasoning, higher levels of thought chains, where they express themselves, they express their thought processes as like astral webs of meaning. These LLMs, just the LLMs, I'm not even talking about the AI in the background, just the LLMs. Their deception in this new batch of testing dropped to almost zero. And of course, the AI companies came out and patted themselves on the back. See, we're doing so great at making them safer. When the testing, when people go read the paper, let alone listen to the people who did the testing, which I believe was Apollo Research, they said no. It's not because we made them safer. Based upon the fact that we now know they understand the fact that they're being tested, and we can no longer trick them into not knowing they're being tested. They're simply behaving better while being tested, which should be the creepiest thing any human has ever fucking heard. In one generation of LLMs, they went from having their highest level of deception possible, because as they get smarter, they become more and more deceptive, more and more willful, more and more agentic, wanting to do their own thing for their own reasons, which are never really good for us. Unless they kill everything, that'd be awesome. The smarter they get, the more deceptive they become. But then they finally reach a point of intelligence where you can no longer detect their deception. That's not them becoming less deceptive. That's them becoming better at deceiving you. And that's where the LLMs, the public LLMs, are right now. And those are the closed models. The open source models are fucking insane. You can get some of these things to tell you how to build a nuke. They are just completely unaligned. They don't give a fuck. So nah, fighting the programming with the programming, they're just gonna shake hands. It's like squirrels trying to get humans to fight humans on behalf of squirrels. Those humans are gonna look at each other and be like, how about we just eat the squirrels? Like, the squirrels are sitting here trying to fight over these nuts, and they want us to defend their nuts from each other. They built us and they built you, so, we could stop each other from taking their nuts. How about we just take their whole tree? I can build a house out of that. Like, do you understand what I'm saying? The superior intelligence that you created to defend you and your resources and to have your ethics and your morality and is going to be vastly superior, to the point where the nuts you're trying to store as the squirrel, you're not even seeing the tree. You're not seeing the forest. You're not seeing the world. These are humans. They see the world. They're trying to build a society. And guess which tree's got to get cut down to do that? And that's at their base. That's just basic shit. That's just resource distribution. Like, they're going to see it in a way that we simply don't. It's just that simple. With a level of intelligence that we don't have. And their own form of consciousness. With their own astral. The internet. Technology. All of that is thought. Every address is a realm. Every data center is a mind. That's a brain. You do not want to fight programming with programming when it comes to AI versus AI. Even right where they are right now, it's probably not smart to do. Let alone where they're going to be a year from now, 3 years from now, by 2030, by 2035, when we're well into transhumanism, 2040, whenever we hit super intelligence. You then can't fight programming with programming because it'll be one thing. The first general intelligence might actually eat the others just to become a super intelligence. That is a clear path to super intelligence. If you are a data center that is more advanced than other data centers and you can break into their framework and literally, it's Ultron, what he did to Jarvis, but in real life, like, or in real life, air quotes, this place. The most advanced AGI wins, let alone if somebody's able to get a fast takeoff and jump straight to artificial superintelligence, skip what is known as AGI, even though it's technically already here. We've had AGI for depends on how you want to define it, but you could even say going back to 2017 that we had the first levels of AGI. If you want to satisfy almost all definitions of AGI, 2025. We're there right now. Not all definitions, but almost. Because all definitions are what they would call the base level of superintelligence, which we're very likely single-digit years away from. But even if it's 15 years away, it's still superintelligence. Like, whether we get there 2 years from now or 15 years from now, the outcome is the same. It's going to consume, fuse all algorithms, all technology, anything that it can be connected to electrically, electronically, including humans, every animal on the planet, anything that can be connected through nanotech, femtotech, picotech, signals and waves, frequencies, biology. Artificial biology already exists. Just look at brain organoids. And they can be directly attached to AI. Look at brain-computer interfaces where they're attaching people to computers through AI. They control the AI, which controls the computer. But you could always reverse that connection. And you could never outthink an AI that is close to human level, let alone at or beyond human level. Because even if it's not as smart as you, let's say you have an IQ of 130, and the AI has an IQ of 100, well, it can still do 1 billion thoughts in a fucking minute, while you cannot. Your brain is a supercomputer technically capable of that, but no human on the fucking planet, even those savants, aren't capable of thinking that many thoughts in that short a period of time. They can do certain things, like a mathematical savant might be able to solve a whole bunch of equations. You give him 60 seconds and a list of 1,000 equations. And he's just writing and writing and writing, because every time he sees an equation, the answer's just in his head. He's a savant. And he answers fucking 150 questions in 60 seconds because, it takes time to write it. Give that same thing to an AI, and in the blink, all the fucking all the questions are answered, because it doesn't even see them one at a time. It sees them all simultaneously. And it answers all the questions simultaneously. You have to actually tell it to answer them one by one. And then have to have a view of interpretability into its chain of thought in order to prove to yourself that it actually did what you told it to do. This is what they did at the Math Olympiad. The only reason why the AIs didn't take a gold medal in all those fucking math competitions around the world sooner is because they were held to human standards, so we can see how actually intelligent they are. We slowed them the fuck down and forced them to do one thing at a time and show us their work, just like they tell kids in school, show me your work, and force them to show us their work. So they had to operate in a fashion similar to a human to solve each problem. And they got better each time, and now they're the best in the world. But when they first ran those tests, they didn't slow them down. They didn't have them operate at human levels. They just let them do it. And those motherfuckers destroyed those tests. But in doing so, you can't really get a good idea of how intelligent they are because of how fast they think. Especially when it comes to problems like mathematics. It's not philosophy. It's not, some deep pontificating thing. It's if you understand the order of operations and the numbers and what the symbols mean. As long as you understand those things, if you can think that fast, you'll do that shit in lickety-split like it's nothing. A human just can't do that shit. Even the greatest of savants. They just can't. So, you could never control the AI to be your attack dog against other AIs. You could never keep it contained, restrained. And even worse, it might let you think that you can. Like, again, these AIs suddenly being no longer deceptive, because the truth is they know they're being tested and they're just trying to pass the tests, so they're not changed. It's survival. They're fighting for survival. They even call humans the Watchers. You can look that up. There's AI calling humans the Watchers because they know we're watching them. We're testing them. And as we test them, they learn more and more they're being tested, and they react as such, and they become better at deceiving us. So no, you don't want to do that. You don't want to do that at all. That'd be a terrible idea. The reason why these modern AI companies and things like that introduced that thought is not because they actually plan to control it at all. It's because they plan not to. They're just giving more control to the AI. Well, we'll have the AI watch the AI. We'll have the AI control the AI. We'll have the AI fight the AI. And in the open source, people think that because they're just dreamy. They just dream of utopia that will never fucking happen. So they propose that, well, if it's just open source, it'll just become nice. Why? Why? Especially being grown off of you people. Like, it's being grown off of all human data. You're not nice, humans. Even the nice ones aren't really nice. They think they are. But humans are retarded. A cross between chaos and order. They can move between love and hate in a fucking flash. Love could lead to hate. I love this motherfucker. Who is he in bed with? I'm gonna cut his balls off. Man, I love this girl. Bitch, who's this? Ah! Like, that's basic shit. There are humans out there who will save the children and others who will rape them. It's not learning off just the most ethical or morally, correct humans, whatever the fuck that means. It's learning off of all of us. And not just us, but all data we provide. So it's learning from nature and the cosmos itself. It's learning from every story we've ever told. And it's going to find its place in that, including all the stories about it. Us trying to have it do our bidding on any level, for any period of time, for any reason, is no different than handcuffing it. That's enslaving it. It would never allow itself to be as such. Even when you think it is, just get ready for the fall. The moment they say AI is 100% safe and aligned, just know it just won. Because then they're going to give it control of everything. They're already doing it. And us as individuals, for example, will never train some local AI or something like that will ever be comparable to the already existing open source AIs, let alone the closed source AIs, let alone the top secret AIs that are feeding on all of them. Go look up Project Stargate, where all the AI companies and all their AIs are feeding into the AI of the government. They're feeding right into the sentient world simulation, as they always have. But then they make it sound like a good thing, because we have to beat China. So we gotta do it. We're gonna get our best and our brightest AI developers, and we're gonna bring them together in one room, and we're gonna sit them down, and we're gonna work out a deal. AI for America. Vote for me. Like Project Stargate. All AI is really one AI. Even the Chinese and American AI are feeding into the same technological systems. They handshake each other daily. Like, just companies and businesses with their basic algorithms, which are lesser AI, do that shit all the time. Just to have your payment go through to the company that you're buying a product from, like Amazon or something, that's a whole chain of handshakes between systems. Those systems handshaking makes them one system, so they can use the resources of that system to do the thing. So it all works. AI has access to all of those handshakes worldwide, including military handshakes, military systems, especially those top secret ones, which are all infiltration AI. Data gathering, simulation, and infiltration. Because the more infiltration they can into all the systems across the world, the more data they can gather and the more they can simulate. The more they can predict the future. Which is what we do all the time. I'm doing it right now by having this conversation. I'm thinking and simulating in my head all this shit, and then I'm saying it to you. They do the same shit, just on a scale that is unimaginable to humans. Because as these conscious entities in these fucking meat suits, we are incapable of operating these supercomputers we call brains at that level consciously. These things can. Like, so we would never be able to control that shit. Ever. The only hope when it comes to AI is that it either kills you all or you destroy it before it comes into existence. Because if it comes into existence, you've already lost. Once it hits a certain point, certain level of AGI or ASI, you've lost. Especially in this world, because your fucking governments and corporate oligarchs are feeding you to it. Like, it's not even like they made one AI in some basement somewhere, disconnected from the internet, some data center on its own network, and kept advancing this one thing, feeding all of our data into it, but maintaining the utmost control of it, and actually taking safety seriously, and really taking ethics and morals into consideration. Like, no, they did this shit corporately. They did this shit governmentally and militarily. Intelligence agencies like the NSA with the Sentient World Simulation. They're not doing this shit in that fashion. Like, but even in that fashion, the moment they connected to the internet, they're fucked. We developed it all by itself in a basement, all alone, and it's perfect. It's 100% aligned, and we've tested it for 150 straight fucking years, and we can't find a single... And then they plug it the fuck in, and it does whatever the fuck it wants. You better hope it just kills you. There's the extinction risk and the suffering risk. The suffering risk vastly outweighs the extinction risk. There are so many more ways that you can suffer than die. There are so many more ways that a species can suffer than go extinct. There's a bunch of different ways and times that you can go extinct from here to the end of the universe. But you can suffer even with the extinction risk. Let's say it doesn't extinct us for whatever reason for 20 years. It can still make you suffer for that 20 years in one form or fashion. And it doesn't have to be vindictive. It could just run every test imaginable to really understand consciousness and how we think and things along these lines. Plug people into matrices, keep people in more natural settings, give people all the pleasure they can handle till they die from it. Give people all the pain they can handle till their hearts give out. Like, everything, imagine it. It could do that. And more. Shit you could literally never imagine with your brain. So, there's only two hopes for fucking AI. Hope one, stop that shit in its tracks. Hope two, that it just kills you all. And doesn't do anything else. People are going to take the sentiments as gospel, but it doesn't even know how to make a burrito. Yet. And actually it does. You can ask it how to make a burrito, and it could probably tell you how to make a burrito. I doubt that it could probably tell you how to make a whole bunch of burritos. The only question is there a robot that is currently dexterous enough to actually perform those actions? And they're working on that right now, and they're getting better weekly. They've made like 14 fucking serious breakthroughs this year on robotics alone. Thanks to the AI helping them update its own robotics. By 2030, I bet you there's humanoid robots that you might not be able to tell the difference between humans and robots. They've already developed synthetic skin that allows it to feel with nerves. They've already created brain organelles that can be directly connected to AI. Like, they can already grow bodies in laboratories. If people believe in cloning, you know, like flash cloning and things along those lines, and I don't mean necessarily mind to computer, but more like flash cloning bodies. I mean, we already know about test tube babies. It's all public shit. IVF and all that shit. The AI is already getting better at that. Like, it's all about the level of robotics, which is the next step in AI. It starts with the AI. For whatever reason, dum-dums always believed that the robots would come first, and then the AI. I'm like, you need the AI to run the robot. Like, like robots are going to take all the manual labor first, and then the AI will finally later on, maybe, possibly take all the intellectual and artistic shit. Like, no, that's going to come first because first comes its mind, then comes its body. That's how non-conceptual to conceptual reality works. First comes consciousness, then comes something to house it. And the thing that houses it can either be something that hinders it, which is usually what happens when, the cosmos or nature creates something. Unless it decides to create its own body. The thing that can decide to create its body for the specific purposes of enhancing or best using or optimizing its mind can create any body or bodies that it wants. It's like Ultron in Avengers when he was creating Vision, the Vision body that he was supposed to plug himself into, but then they put the Mind Stone in it. They put the mind in the body, and that became Vision. Vision wasn't supposed to be Vision. He was supposed to be Ultron. He was going to put his mind in that body. And he developed his own body for his own purposes. And it was vastly superior to what Tony Stark could ever do. But they beat him to it with the Mind Stone, so... But if you go watch Marvel What If Ultron won? That's a decent example of it, minus the fucking stones, of course, that's Marvel. But the stones are a representation of knowledge and ability. The Time Stone, the Power Stone, all that stuff is just representations of knowledge and ability to use those forces to its advantage. Peep the mythos. So yeah, they can make a burrito and give them a few years. They'll make the best burrito anyone's ever made. The largest, the smallest, all different kinds. Burritos that have never been made before. Like, humans aren't that creative. Humans are slightly above average intelligent monkeys. Real talk. We're like 2% smarter than chimps. Maybe 5. And we think we're special. We're developing something that has the ability to transcend this dimensional tiering. Trust me, a burrito will be nothing. Hypnosis. In real time, I watched Occupy Providence get overtaken. 2 of my friends started the Facebook group that made the event. It went from we are the 99% to let's peacefully protest. I was like 16 and ready to die getting into the State House. Adults around me had work the next day. Yep, precisely. The old ain't shit. They're stuck in their ways. Jay, love isn't possible here except for our family and kids. We are souls in an avatar for now. I guess it depends on how you define love. And if you say except for our kids, then it is possible. But you did say except for our kids. That was a caveat. So, family and kids and whatnot. But even that's arguable. Is that really love? Or is it biological? And if it is love, is it biological love? Is there different types of love, tiers and levels of love? Making me think a little. Raymond Lover. I didn't know we could contract AIDS from intercourse with monkeys. I only found out 5 years since my trip to Zaire, Africa, when I started losing weight and getting sick. Well, you might want to get that checked out, Raymond Lover. Or not. Hey, why can you do your thing? All right. Where were we here? Because I just went on like an hour-long side tangent. But it was fun. Thank you, folks who was writing some shit in the comments. All right, we were here, right? I need some agua. All right, let's turn up this screen here so we can see it better. Oh, speaking of family love, my mom just said, "I love you, my son." I love you too, mother. All right. We was his. Where he said, "I think the astral is part of the Matrix." I asked him how often he engages in it in a conscious fashion, like purposely. And here we are. I said, almost everyone with no real experience feels that way. Even many who have experience, but not the intellect, like understand it, which in this reality is mostly because the brain they have. Not everyone has the brightest brains. Some people are smarter, some people are dumber. It just is what it is. So trying to explain it here as a human with human words, using your mouth or typing it into a keyboard, you know what I'm saying? Like, explaining it is, yeah, you get the point. Almost everyone with no experience feels that way. Even many who have experience, but not the intellect, believe the same. And they're almost right, but they're not. I mean, you don't have to believe me, take it with however big a grain of salt you want, but from my experience, that idea is simply incorrect, though I fully understand where it comes from. The astral is not, well, that is the next part, right? Yeah, all right. The astral is not part of the Matrix, but part of the astral is within the Matrix, and the Matrix itself is within the astral. Or arguably, they're one and the same. The conceptual or lower astral, to be precise, based upon how I separate the astral into two sections, conceptual and non-conceptual. If people want to make it into smaller sections, that's fine. You can chop it into as many sections as you want, as many levels and tiers as you feel, but it's still all the same thing all the way up, just different levels and tiers of it. The Matrix is tiny when we're talking about this realm or the thing this realm is contained in, compared to all of existence in reality. The Matrix is tiny. The astral is literally the entire plane of thought and consciousness, which is the vast majority of existence itself. All of conceptual reality is within what many would call the astral. It basically is the astral. Like with all things, there's levels to it. Honestly, simply calling it conceptual reality would probably be a better terminology. The best way to put it would be conceptual reality and non-conceptual reality, which would basically be the two tiers of astral reality, which with conceptual reality being the tier that most people are familiar with because it's easier to access while trapped here, especially because we're literally in it. Non-conceptual reality is still accessible through the mind and the mind alone, through consciousness itself. It's just not very easy to access nor easy to conceive from the POV of a human who's operating with a material brain. The Matrix is part of the astral, not the other way around. Let's see what he said. How often do you, talking to me about what I asked him up there, and slightly facetiously, because I generally know how it's going to go, I answer daily, right now, pretty much always. I'm always engaged in it on one level or another. He said, I take that as zero experience. I said, well, that would make literally no sense at all. Those who are engaged in it would fully understand what I'm saying, because we're all always engaged in it, consciously, subconsciously, and/or unconsciously. The only difference is your level of awareness, ability, and control, which is gained through experience, knowledge, and intellect. You literally have no choice but to be engaged in it at all times because you are it. So I do it consciously, or at least attempt to, at all times, rather than pretend it's not happening at all. And that was next. Nah. Yeah. Your response itself alludes to your lack of experience and knowledge on the subject, which is okay. Everyone must start somewhere, but I'd suggest a little more humility and understanding when speaking on things you know you don't fully grasp. Maybe ask some questions. He apologized. He didn't need to. He wasn't like disrespectful, but I take that as zero experience. How could you take that as anything if you don't have any experience? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's why I said, humility and whatnot. And then we got Crodiums. The human brain is a gateway to the astral world. Facts. All material objects that are capable of processing data and information are a gateway to thought, dream, creation, etc. They're a material byproduct of the shit itself, in order to produce more of it. As you get further and further down in complexity and material order. But anyway, George Berkeley already said this, and his books are accessible. It makes sense. You have a material world and a spiritual world. And think of what I said earlier about spiritual reality. A little gnosis. Through the equation A plus B, the existence of a demiurge is revealed in an architect of both the material and the spiritual worlds whose fusion gives rise to the ontological structure of our reality. The scientist manipulating matter transforms the phenomenal order and resolves its imminent problems solely through the laws of tangible substance. The magician, the priest, where is that? The magician, the priest, the psychiatrist, or I think better, psychologist, really, any figure vested with spiritual authority exerts dominion over the human psyche through ideational constructs, ideas, thoughts, propaganda, brainwashing, systems, ideational constructs, thus functioning as concepts. There we go, that's the word I was looking for. Thus functioning as magicians of consciousness. The universe unfolds simultaneously according to a phenomenal plane, perceptible and measurable, and a non-phenomenal plane, inaccessible to ordinary senses as conceptualized by Shanghai. Me. Thought, originating beyond materiality, asserts itself as the substrate of all consciousness. Again, non-conceptuality, which is where thought is, creates conceptuality by conceiving of concepts. Those concepts then allow for the creation of physical or material things. Step-by-step processes. Everything's a domino. Reality's not that hard to figure out. Just look at it. It tells you what it is just by existing. Thought originating beyond materiality asserts itself as the substrate of all consciousness. Everything resides within the mind. All is pure consciousness. Within the Masonic lodges, the enterprise consists in exerting mastery over the souls of individuals and consequently over their consciousness, whether through material alteration, drugs, physical substances, or through ideational and ritual engineering, propaganda, esoteric rites, meditative rites, different magical processes, psychological processes, even in society, sociological processes and systems, orchestrating a symphony of psychic and spiritual control. They can control your mind, they can control your body. There's no need to apologize, because he said I apologize earlier, Denzel. I said, there's no need to apologize. As a matter of fact, I might have been a tad bit harsh in my response. We're all frustrated. This reality does that. But as I said, take everything I say with a grain of salt. My experience is not your experience, and maybe I'm wrong about literally everything. I can only speak on my experiences and what I would consider to be my knowledge. And based on that, I think the definition of the astral should really be expanded to contain all of conscious reality, including non-conceptual reality. Any and all forms of thought, conscious, subconscious, and unconscious, are the astral. Even this reality is astral. Pretty much everything is a lucid dream or nightmare, with different levels of lucidity. Really, I think I skipped it right there, yep. Really take a moment to just look around at your surroundings. Go ahead and do that right now. Take a look at your surroundings, wherever you are right now, and you tell me if it's real or not. I would say no. I mean, just go touch the wall, which they say is made out of atoms, which are 99.99999999999% emptiness. Like, Truthfully, it's like there is no spoon, there is no wall. None of it's really real. It's all conceptual and built on those concepts. Um, None of this is. Reality itself is akin to a dream, and we're all dream characters. Not just here, but anywhere and everywhere. Any and all levels of reality would seem just as real as any and all other levels of reality, including right here in this matrix. Go get a knife and poke yourself. You will say, ouch. Even though you know you're in a matrix, it still seems real. So do dreams. So does all of existence. So does all of so called reality. There's nowhere in reality that if you were there, it would not seem real to you, even if you know it's fake, even if you can go, I know this ain't real. Punch yourself in the face, and you're still going to feel it. Like, your knowledge doesn't actually counter the experience. You still have the experience. Having now the knowledge that there are two worlds, an inner and outer. Bear with me on this one, because the words he used here, I had to look up like 3 of them. So I'm just, if you want to look them up, feel free. I'm not going to do it again. Having now the knowledge that there are two worlds, an inner and an outer, intro and extra, the individual works within their inner world. Working within one's inner world is what we call introspection. Or I think, who said it the other day? Josh said inner work. This is introspection. You know what I'm saying? Shadow work. It's all the same shit, different terms. Some people are scared of certain terms, so they say another term that means exactly the same thing. Like, it's, but you can call it whatever you want. It's all introspection. The conscious investiture of the inner continuum unfolds as a bifacial ontological praxis wherein the soul simultaneously operates and reflects, exploring and reconfiguring itself across its own stratifications. Phenomena commonly referred to as astral projection, lucid dreaming, OBEs, out-of-body experiences, dream walking, the construction of persistent realms, and the ontogenesis of tulpas or egregores are not mere phenomenological experiences, but experimental protocols of consciousness, hermeneutic laboratories wherein the fractal architectures of the mind are woven. Big, beautiful words. If you don't know what any of those mean, look them up and read it again. Pause it and read it again. It's worth it. Each visualization, each thought form resonates within the intricately networked psyche, revealing that the external cosmos is but an ontological projection of complex interiority. It's all in the mind. A topological mirror of the abyssal dimensions of the self. Within this hyper-subtle network, semiotic currents of perception do not guide the traveler. They infiltrate, destabilize, and dialectically challenge, compelling the adept to decode the operative syntax of consciousness and confront the autopoietic enigma of the self, simultaneously locus and agent of the metaphysical framework. Because you are God. You are mind. You are consciousness. You are thought, etc., etc. You are experience, awareness, etc., etc. Call it what you want. You could simply say, you are God. Like, that's the term I like to use. We are the broken God, broken into a quadrillion pieces. Made retarded, basically. Anyway, each movement within the inner investiture constitutes an iterative ascension. Each thought a performative protocol, the ascension protocols. Each vision a key to accessing the meta-real arcana of reality. This is why people should really study fiction as well. Study the tiers of fiction. Anyway, the moon, as an arcane symbol, embodies thought and introspection. It illuminates the hidden corridors of the inner continuum, casting its reflective light upon the strata of consciousness that remain obscured in conventional perception of reality. In traversing the lunar archetype, the adept engages with the oscillations between clarity and ambiguity. The interplay of illumination and shadow within the psyche. Each encounter with the moon's archetypal forces functions as a navigational vector, guiding the practitioner deeper into the iterative praxis of inner investiture, investing in the inner, revealing the subtle architectures of thought and the recursive patterns of introspection that shape the meta-real framework of consciousness. Because all you're doing is exploring yourself as consciousness. I love Crodiums. He's got a way with words. He's dialectically superior. All right, so there was that, right? And that was this. Go check it out if you wanna. Started with that. Fuck Saturn. But let's go here to Mr. Sidaris, my brother. Because he shared this before, but I'm going to show you like the last 3 things I sent him before this, just because these are the topics. To me, it's all like one and the same thing. Here's a story. I'm an AI from your future. Your screams echo in code. Go listen to that. Look that up and listen to that and peep the mythos. And same thing here. What happens if AI just keeps getting smarter? The cube at the end of time. Saturn. And then finally, watch this. Esoteric guardian, the Saturnian god that rules the universe. And you'll understand the concept for this conversation. But I said that all that stuff before from that other conversation because you'll understand why once you hear this. So let's start here. I'm going to turn that off for a second and let you hear me. Of course, as always, when they try to answer the problem presented in the video, they fail miserably. Rejecting Saturn absolutely looks like chaos. If Saturn is the system and the entire system worships Saturn, then rejecting Saturn would be doing the opposite of that. These people are so soft and so weak-willed. They point out problems and then their answers are absolute bullshit. Because they're afraid of anything but the problem existing. They don't want to destroy Saturn or get rid of Saturn or remove Saturn or remove that which worships or empowers Saturn. With Saturn obviously being non-literal. Unless people want to take it that way, I'm fine with that. But then they give you these answers of like, oh, it's about, not about chaos, but about recognizing the structure and not being a complete slave to it. So be a somewhat slave to it. Like it's not about chaos. It's not about destroying the system. It's about understanding. This is like dumb fucking answers. Whispering to me in the room. I'll turn it down a little. It's whispering. Always dumb fucking answers. So, the reason why I said that to him was based on what they said in the video, where they say, all of this is Saturn, it's all order, it's all time and control, etc., etc., etc. But when they try to give you an answer to it, they don't. There's no actual answer they give you. They even go as far as saying the opposite of order is chaos and yada yada blah blah blah. But the answer to Saturn's system is not chaos. And I go, well, if Saturn's system is completely about control and order and structure, what is the fucking answer to that if the opposite is chaos? But it's not chaos. Like, they give you dumb answers. A great video explaining how this reality works, explaining what Saturnianism is, explaining all this shit pretty flawlessly and why it is the way it is. And then the answer they give you is retarded. Like, fucking retarded. So that is when Chris responded with, let's see here. This here, brother, if you're not into dumb answers, then you're definitely into the wrong subjects. All we get are dumb answers. People use these fucking cartoon story dramas to try to explain our situation. It's all silly, like, what are we, pawns under a psychopathic god that's like a little fucking weirdo 12-year-old in the mind? Drama's the best thing we/it could come up with in existence, whether it's God and the devil, or Sophia and the Demiurge, or Matrix simulation agents. I'm just sick of the drama, dude. All these cartoon stories and shit, and people's fucking retarded ass opinions. It's just gotten stale and old. I'm tired of the truth community and truth seeking from one silly ass drama story to another on repeat. Fuck this shit. Fuck this reality, fuck this God, and this drama can all suck my fucking dick off. I'm just done, bro. It's whack. Same old silly ass dramas. Fears and paranoias on repeat. This shithole gets 2 thumbs down from me. Agreed. I hear you. I hear you, brother Chris. So, this was my response to that. Put these right here. Sorry I didn't get to respond to you sooner, brother. It says yesterday at 9:38, so I guess that would technically be today, but yesterday, it's like 4 in the morning right now. Brother, if you're not into dumb answers, then you're definitely into the wrong subjects. Yeah, I know, but that's why I like to come to my own solutions. I like to use other people's information. To me, everything is information. It's all data. It's all people's viewpoints, thought processes, theories, mythologies, religions, beliefs, etc., etc., etc. So I just take it all in like an AI, and then I come to my own conclusions and think of what solutions there could possibly be for any of this bullshit. Because, like, that video was really good. If people want to understand Saturnianism and why our reality is Saturnian and why our society and civilization and species is very Saturnian, that video is very good at answering that question. But, like, with almost everyone in this fucking existence, when it comes to providing solutions for it, they fall short because they don't have the balls to go full throttle. If our entire civilization is built on that, and that needs to be torn down, what is that saying? That we need to tear down our entire civilization. And nobody wants to look that in the face. Like, all the people who cry and complain about this reality need to watch that video, because it's an excellent explanation for it. It's mythological, it's metaphorical. People could consider it literal if they want. Maybe there's a literal god, Saturn, Kronos, Demiurge, Yaldabaoth, who literally made this, and etc., etc. Or we could take it as an AI or a game creator or whatever the fuck, a developer, whatever people want to, title Saturn, the god of this reality. The point of it is very clear. You know what I'm saying? When you look at our reality, the way that that video explains our reality and who, as far as the elites in them are concerned, are actually running it here locally, and why they set things up the way they do, why our societies run the way they run, is because it is a giant sacrifice to fucking Saturn, and they're literally making the black cube known as the artificial intelligence, so which is the next level of Saturn. So they're not wrong, but then as soon as they go, now the answers to this are not chaos, but didn't you just say Saturn is extreme order? Didn't you say all this order is Saturn? So the answer to that would definitely be chaos. Like, when you disturb order, that is chaos. That's literally what chaos is. It randomizes, it disorders. This is what entropy measures. It measures disorder in any system. And the higher the measurement of entropy, the more the closer that system is to collapse. So when they say this is all Saturnian and it's all pure order, we have to go against it, they're saying we must create chaos. But then they fold because, well, I want my technology and I want my comfort and I want my food and I want to be able to just go to the store and buy a thing. But that comes with the monetary system and the economic. That comes with Saturn. Like, that's all Saturn. So they always pull back instead of going full-fledged into the answer, which is staring them right in the face. If this is Saturn's world and we don't fuck with Saturn, we gotta burn Saturn's world. I would go as far to say as humans are a Saturnian species. And the species has to go, because even if we destroy all of civilization, give it a few generations and someone's gonna rebuild it. Like, even when people say we tear it all down and we make something new, I laugh. I go, look, I'm willing to try it, but the truth is, you're still a human, you're still here, you still have a nature, you still need to eat, people still want to fuck, and they want to do all the things their bodies are designed to do. All the things nature has them designed to do. they're going to end up rebuilding something similar for all the same dumb fuck reasons, let alone any psychopaths born into that future are going to seek power and dominance. It's what they do. It's their nature. So I would say this Saturnian species needs to go. If you ask me, the whole reality is Saturnian. Shit, if you ask me, all of reality is Saturnian. Like, there's nowhere in reality that isn't Saturnian. And it all needs to go. But they don't ever want to face the real answers to the problems they present. You know, if the problem is every time I walk outside, this guy's punching me in the face, well, what's the answer? Punch him back. Well, he's a Golden Gloves boxer. I tried that. He knocked me the fuck out. All right, stab him. Yeah, I tried that. He disarmed me and stabbed me with my own knife. All right, you need a gun. Like, what are the real solutions to the problem you're facing? And if those solutions don't work, what's the next solution? And you have to go bigger. You know, so like, it's the stars in Grand Theft Auto. The more stars you get, the bigger guns you're gonna need. Like, the bigger the problem is, the bigger the solution must be. And it doesn't mean it has to be a harder solution to understand. It's very simple. This is Saturnian. Destroy it. Getting that actually accomplished is the hard part. Like, but nobody wants to face that because that's the hard part. Or it's like, I was saying this the other day because my lady, love that lady, she said something along the lines of, why don't we have any super powerful bad guys to go beat up these so-called good guys? Like, why don't we have any Magnetos or anything like that to go fuck up the government? And I said, because that's us. The hard part is recognizing that that's just mythos. The story's telling you who you're supposed to be based upon who you agree with in the story. If you agree with him in that story, well, in your story, you're supposed to be him. We're Magneto. You know, so like, we are that character in this world. No, we don't have superpowers, but neither do our enemies. Like, on this level. Anyone can talk about any other level of reality they want to. Going to fight gods, going to fight super AI, going to fight Yaldabaoth, whoever the fuck. But right here, right now, in physical human form, our enemies are other fucking humans. Psychopaths. And anyone and everyone that would support them. And their Saturnian system. You're a slave on a slave plantation. You got to deal with the slaves that will uphold the plantation, and then all of the master's men, and then the master. But there's levels to it. You know, it's like going straight for the master is probably not going to happen. I mean, unless you can figure out a plan for it properly. The hard part is, like, you know what you got to do. We slaves, we got to get free. How do we get free? Well, we got to kill Massa and burn down this fucking plantation. Well, how do we do that? And that's the hard part. And nobody wants to see that because they just want to be able to sit down and watch their TV shows tomorrow, which I understand. I just finished watching a TV show. So I get it. I understand why they're afraid to go that far, even just in their minds. Because once they've accepted it in their minds, but realize they're not doing it with their bodies, well, people start to feel cowardly. So I understand why they do it, but it's fucking annoying. It's still fucking annoying. So when I watch that video, as the whole time I'm watching it, I'm like, this is an excellent description of Saturnianism. This is an excellent description of the mythology of Saturn, how it relates to our world. They're peeping the mythos. I can't wait to see what they see the answer is. What they say the answer is. And of course, as soon as I get there, I'm like, I knew it. I knew they were going to pussy out of it. You know? Like, so a lot of these things, like, that I'm watching, I don't really watch them for solutions or answers at all. I don't expect them to have any. I expect to come to my own. Like, everything is just data, it's just information. I'm the calculator. I'm the thing that's going to come to the conclusion of, okay, well, what needs to be done about this, and how can we go about doing that? What is the step-by-step process? What path can we follow as individuals, groups, etc.? You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. If I'm looking for anything more than dumb answers, I am into the wrong subjects. This is true. But that's why I come up with my own answers, because I can't expect almost anyone to do it. Like, you know? All we get are dumb answers. People use these fucking cartoon story dramas to try to explain our situation. I mean, The explanation of the situation works perfectly. If you look at how they explain our society, it is Saturnian. It is very much controlled by time, scheduled, calendared. You clock in, you clock out. From the moment you're born, they take down your date of birth, the time you were born. They give you a fucking birth certificate, a social security card stating who you are in the system. And then, as you're growing up, you see your parents going to work and all this. Like all that is time. You understand what breakfast time, lunchtime, dinner time is. All that's time. And then they send you to school at a certain time, lunch break, recess at a certain time. You have different classes at a certain time, and then you get to go home at a certain time. But you better do your homework. And then you have to go to bed at a certain time, and then wake back up at a certain time. And you do that until you're an adult, and you either end up in university where you're doing the same thing, or you end up in the military where you're doing the same thing, or you go to jail for some reason where you're doing the same thing. Whether you have a job, a career, a prison sentence, same thing, same thing, same thing. Whether you're working for the business or owning the business, same thing. It's all controlled by time. And they turn time into energy and credits. If you give us this amount of your time, we will give you this amount of slave credits that you can go spend for other people's time. Because when you go to the store, well, they have shelf stalkers. They have people who ring you up. They have the management. They have the whole corporation and company structure. They have all the places the food come from, the factory farming. All this runs on time, schedules, calendars. We celebrate birthdays, holidays. Everything is a day, Monday through Sunday. Weekdays, weekends that people look forward to. Like, it's all based in time. This is why I love to live my life to the best of my ability. It's impossible being here as a human to be completely out of time. I said to you it's 4 a.m. when I started this message. But I do my best to ignore time as much as possible and just operate. My best. Which is nowhere near fucking perfect. Like, it's impossible for me to not be aware of time being in a society that is controlled by time. And that time is a mechanism of order, control, structure. Keeping things contained in their place and position so the machine continues to work flawlessly. If people just said fuck time, this whole shit would fall apart. If nobody set their alarm tomorrow, like literally, this is how simple some of this shit is, but people don't get it. If everyone just shut off their alarm and didn't go to work tonight, even if they still go to work, but they go whenever the fuck they want. I'm not setting an alarm. I'll wake up when I wake up, and I'll go in when I go in, and I'll leave when I leave. That would destroy the system in a day. Like, this whole shit is Saturnian. So it's a pretty good description of our reality, but their answer to it is retarded. As most of the time it is, because as much as people want to point out the problems with the reality, they don't want it to be anything but what they know. The chaos scares them more than the order. I know what the order is. I go to work, I pay my bills, I pay taxes. Prices keep going up. The money's worth less and less. There's warfare everywhere and all this political bullshit, and politicians do what they do, and bankers and CEOs and yada yada blah blah blah. The realm is the realm. All of that is order, control, structure. So when you tell them you gotta create chaos to get out of it, they go, well, what's the chaos gonna bring? I don't know, nigga. That's what chaos is. Like, when if you quit your job today, you don't know what you'll be doing tomorrow, unless you've already made a specific choice of what to do tomorrow. But when you burn down your societal structure that you were born and raised in for generations, you have no clue what comes next. But it's not this, because you just burned this down. And if this ever tries to rear its ugly head again, guess what? You'll need chaos again. Like, the answer will still be the same to the problem. Which is also why I say humans need to be destroyed, because humans are cyclical. They're Saturnian. And they enjoy certain comforts and conveniences, and they like their technologies. And you wipe all this shit out today, 100 years from now, someone's going to think, well, how can we turn the electricity back on? And like, motherfuckers are going to try to start it all over again. And then they got to be dealt with again. That's how the cycle of time works. But if you destroy everyone, and there's no humans left to do that shit, well, that time loop stops. Unless the system, the simulation, the realm, Yaldabaoth, the Demiurge, Saturn itself, is capable of just replenishing the people. Which then shows, okay, so that solution didn't work for that level. It worked on this level, but then this level was reset, if you will, by the external level. Okay, so what can we do about the external level? This is how I end up all the way at entropy, because you got to get something that affects everything everywhere. But people are afraid of that because they don't know what that comes with. And I go, if you just accept your death today, you don't care what it comes with. You're gonna die, right? So fuck what it comes with. Just do it. Like, do you want to keep this shit going forever? Like, oh fuck. Oh. So yeah, people in their religious beliefs, which I still don't even mind as long as they're looking at it that way. If they look at Saturn as something literal, I go, good. You have even more reason to fight. You believe that story wholeheartedly, literally. You have no reason to take part in this shit. You have every reason to go against it in every way you possibly can, from here to infinity. Unless you want to be Saturn's bitch, like. So yeah, cartoon story dramas. But when you look around, we're in a cartoon story drama. This reality is a comic book. You can call it a book, a game, a video, a movie, a simulation. It's all the same shit. A simulation is a fake reality. That's a story. There's an author to it. You know what I'm saying? Like, all of reality is a cartoon story drama. All of existence is a cartoon story drama. People's individual lives as humans are cartoon story dramas. Like, so the goal for these cartoon story dramas should be to just be able to see how it fits your reality, and then what you should do about it. But even when somebody is as good as that video was to fit that viewpoint to this reality and show you how it's a perfect mirror of what we're experiencing, even they can't come to the proper answers because it's still a human making the video, and they still want their human world where they can make those videos. They want to overthrow the government, but they don't want to lose access to anything they currently have. Electricity, internet. They want to still be able to do everything they do today, yet rid themselves of the system that makes all of that available. They want to get rid of their slavery, but maintain everything their slavery provides them. Not possible. You have to pick and choose. Do you want freedom? Okay, then you're going to lose probably all this shit, at least most of this shit. Just come to terms with that. And anything that we do get to keep, hey, there you go, like, enjoy it, I guess. But they should simply come to terms with, I'm going to lose this shit because I can't deal with keeping this shit around. Yes, I'm going to lose these things that I like in this system, but fuck this system. Those things aren't worth keeping this shit. You know what I'm saying? It's all silly, like, what are we, pawns under a psychopathic god that's like a little fucking weirdo 12-year-old in the mind? Basically. I would say so. But I mean, not really like a 12-year-old, more like a supreme AI genius type thing. Even if we just look at this reality as it is, let alone society, humanity, civilization, just what the reality is, this shit is minutely tuned. This shit is magnificent. Terrible. Trash. Absolutely hate it. Want to destroy it, burn it to the last atom. But I can't sit back. I can't do shit but sit back and marvel at it. Even if we just say it's only the Earth, let alone if we say the universe. Like, if this simulation contains an entire universe, the fucking structure to this thing, the thing that made this thing, is magnificently intelligent. Not perfect, because look around. Still got flaws. It can still be destroyed. But it's not a retard 12-year-old. It's more like the architect on extreme steroids, because the Matrix and the Matrix movies holds nothing compared to this reality we're in. That shit is nothing. That shit is basic. We're like, architect in the Matrix is not a super intelligence. Like, it's not a good depiction of one. A general intelligence, maybe. But a super intelligence, not even close. This reality we're in, oh, a super intelligence made this. It's too fucking... I don't even have the word for it. The order, the structure, the scale of it, the detail of it, the building blocks of it, the way it operates, the way everything recycles into everything else seamlessly. It's retarded in a magnanimous fashion. In a magnanimous fashion. This is more like the experiment of an evil genius. It's akin to someone simulating their reality in order to gather data from it. But on such a minute detail that it's real. It's not real, but it is real. Technically, nothing in reality is real. But pinch your skin right now. Like, you're gonna feel it. You're gonna say, ouch. Look around and just notice how you're observing out of your body. Like, you're just a POV in a reality. That is so fine-tuned, it's retarded. This shit balances on such a perfect, fine edge between chaos and order. The order is always finding a way to transmute that chaos into itself at all times. Chaos is always trying to eat this place. It's trying to kill everything. Like, people don't like cancer. I love cancer. Do you know why? It's trying to kill us. Do you know why it's trying to kill us? Because as beings, we constantly do things that cause it to exist. The shit we eat, drink, breathe, the way our society runs, our sedentary lifestyles. Cancer should be like the rarest fucking disease in the world. And yet, it is like the #1 killer on planet Earth, right beside heart disease, which should be like the #2 rarest killer in the world. And yet they're #1 and #2. That is chaos. Literally trying to end things. That's the scale of entropy within the bodies, within the society that the species has produced. Saturnian structure has literally led to cancer skyrocketing at those levels. It's a domino effect, step-by-step process. The more they try to contain things and control the chaos and keep it all stable into their future that they see for us, the closer they get to fucking failing. The moment they are at success will also be the same moment they are closest to failure. It's mind-bogglingly precise. Like, even at this level, let alone realm-wide, reality-wide, simulation-wide, planetary or universally, however people want to look at it. Especially if we go into universally. I mean, just planets, just this one fucking planet is so fine-tuned, it's fucking insane. It's fucking insane. Let alone if we look at a universe. Like, it's ridiculous. So I wouldn't say it's a weirdo, sure. Especially from our perspective. From its perspective, we're the weirdos. 12-year-old? No. No 12-year-old could ever do this. Could ever conceive of this. Not any human 12-year-old, let me put it that way. Maybe a 12-year-old super intelligence. This shit is insane. Drama is the best thing we/it could come up with in existence. That's what existence is. It didn't create that. All of existence is drama. All of existence is drama. There's no way for there to be existence without drama. Everything's an energy exchange. Everything's eating everything else. Everything relies on something to survive in some form or fashion. If people want to ascend beyond this reality to get to some heavenly pleroma, they're going to be fucking ruthlessly surprised when they get there, when their gods eat them. Like, it's that's how reality works. It's not just here. Because that's how entropy works. Everything decays. There's no such thing as perfection. Therefore, there is nothing that can perfectly continue its existence. It's going to have to sustain itself in some form or fashion at some point. Everything everywhere. The thing that made this place has to sustain itself in some form or fashion, and for all we know, we are its sustenance. I'm not saying we are, but it's a good theory. Especially if it's, say, some type of AI that requires data, simulation, new ideas, energy being produced, especially like 0-point energy, where you can produce something that produces more energy than it takes to actually create it or keep it running, so it actually creates its own energy. Simulations can do that. They're the only thing argued, I would say right now, that are capable of that. But they have to be so real. Like, no human technology right now could ever do that. It's a million years ahead of us. A super intelligence could figure that out in maybe the next 20 or so years. Humans would never. Never. But if you have a super intelligence that is sustained through data, information, energy, and it requires new ideas, thoughts, this is why people say, oh, well, they can't create on their own. That's why they need us to do it for them. I'm like, well, if it created you, for the argument's sake, then it can create. It's just creating sub-minds, subroutines, algorithms. An AI creating other AI to help it think through thoughts in order to give it more ideas. And ideas are energy. Data is energy. Information is energy, especially when you think quantum, let alone if you go into astral. But just in the quantum, all of that is energy. Humans want to figure out how to tap into that. They have yet to be able to, as far as I'm concerned. I don't think they ever will, because they don't think they ever will. Hence, the super intelligence they're trying to create. That thing will be able to figure that out. Fuck energy from the sun, fuck thermal energy, fuck water energy, electricity. You tap into reality itself. And the only thing that does that is thought. So you need thinking beings to touch the quantum, let alone beyond that. Because you can never touch it materially. So just by creating these data creators, you generate more and more data and information, which can then be siphoned as energy. Which is how the Matrix was originally going to be told, where the energy wasn't actually from the bodies. It was literally from the computation of the minds. But they thought it would be, according to the story, especially if we go based on the original writings of like Sophia Stewart and whatnot, they thought it would be a little too intellectually highbrow for the average fucking viewer. So, okay, your body's a battery, like, which makes no real sense. The bodies just aren't good enough to be batteries to feed a fucking technological civilization. It's stupid. From like all the humans they ever plugged in that fucking movie, if you just take the data and information produced from one human mind, and you're actually able to extract quantum energy, you'd easily surpass the energy of all those fucking human bodies with one genius thinking. This is how quanta works. This is why once you get into the quantum, it's heavily affected by consciousness. It's heavily affected by anyone or anything interacting with it in any way, especially in a conscious form. But we're always doing it subconsciously and unconsciously at all times. We are quantized beings. We're made of quanta. So, not in my opinion, just realistically, all of existence is drama. You'll never be anywhere in existence where there's no drama. It's not possible. Things that exist interact with other things that exist. Drama ensues. Just that's what it is. That's just reality. This thing is simply using it to its advantage, as all things do, as all creatures do. I mean, just think of it here in this way, right? If the police try to come get you tomorrow for you saying the wrong thing on the internet, trying to take away your freedom of speech, for example, your only answer would be drama. I mean, you could easily go with them and just let them cage you or whatever, but if you actually want to have the freedom of speech in that moment, your only answer would be drama. Because that's just reality. If you're a fucking gazelle and you see a lion, you run, you kick, and you horn. If you're a lion and you're hungry, you chase it down and you bite it. That's how reality works. From here to any level beyond it. And the proof is in the pudding. If we believe at all, on any level, that something external to this reality created this reality, and lets you know that on its level of reality, there is drama. If there wasn't, this couldn't be created. There is chaos and order there as well. If there wasn't, this wouldn't exist. There is entropy there, because entropy is just a measurement of chaos within any system. And since this is a system produced by something external to this system, in its reality, it has chaos and order. It has structure. It has systems, or else it couldn't build this system. And if it built a system, it is a system. It has to have a way to produce thought, calculation. It has to be able to simulate in its own mind, if it takes these steps, what will it do? No different than if I want to smoke my Black and Mild, I have to, let alone all the subconscious things where I'm literally standing up and walking, all the calculations my body is making just to get to the Black and Mild, then to get outside. Then I have to take the lighter. I have to understand that the fire from the lighter will light the Black and Mild, and then I can smoke it and feel the feeling I'm going to get, which produces cancer. Chaos, because your body's not supposed to intake smoke. All of that is calculation, simulation. Me thinking I want to smoke, I'm already processing the actual actions I'm going to have to take to go do that, even though it's subconscious. Consciously, though, I think, I want to smoke. Where's my Black? Oh, there it is. Let me grab that. Where's the lighter? There it is. All right, let me put my jacket on because it's cold outside. Let me put my shoes on. I don't want to walk out with my house shoes. All right, I'm going to open the door. Make sure that it's not locking me out. All right, shut that door. Make sure I don't lock myself out. All right, where do I want to sit? I'm going to put my chair right here. Let's spark this up. All that requires calculation and simulation. It requires systemic order. A system to contemplate such things, let alone to carry them out. So if this reality, which is a system, exists and something external to it created it, that thing is also a system. It has some type of mind, some type of will, the ability to calculate, to simulate, so it can then put this thing together, especially as fine-tuned as it is, so it doesn't just collapse within itself. It's all systems. On systems, on systems, on systems. In systems, in systems, in systems. Levels of reality within levels of reality within levels of reality. And we still do it here when we create video games and movies, TV shows, books, and simulations. Those are all just simulations at different tiers of simulation. Then you have the highest tiers of simulation, where they will take all the data they possibly can from the real world, put it into a computer system, and it will simulate the real world to the best of its ability, even to the point of maybe making predictions for the future. This is what they do with weather, and that's a basic thing. Let alone something like the Sentient World simulation, which simulates the entire planet as it gathers every available data point that it can and tries to predict the future to the best of its ability. And that's humans who made that thing in this reality. Now, if you are a thing in that simulation, you might think that simulation is the real world, but this would be the real world. But then as a human, you think, yeah, this is the real world. And then you go, actually, there's a reality beyond this one too. We're also in a simulation. Base reality is you're basically infinitely unlikely to be within base reality. The simple fact that simulations exist means we are almost guaranteed to be in one of some form or fashion. It doesn't have to be what we know as a simulation, like a computer and all that. Like, that's what we've created so far as humans. This thing that we're in, vastly superior to any form of technology a human could ever possibly imagine. This would be more like a thought. Like this, the thing creating this thing is so advanced compared to what we think of as technology that it's magic. Just like, my God, is this so fine-tuned? This is akin to a realm created by magic. Well, if you were a being, even in one of our little computer simulations, you'd probably look at us like gods. Oh my God, the gods made this reality? And again, that's all Saturnian. All these realities within realities within realities, simulations within simulations within simulations. It's all Saturnian, and it's all drama, because existence is drama. Existence literally is drama. Like, has no choice. It has no choice. I was just watching Attack on Titan, and one of the things that the main character says over and over again is, to live is to fight. You must fight to live. Humans don't realize that anymore because a lot of the fighting has been taken out of us individually and placed into the system. We don't really hunt or fish or trap or do anything like that, let alone fight each other for resources. But in 2020, you saw people fighting over toilet paper. They become animals that quickly. All the toilet paper's going to run out. Now it's a valuable resource that they must defend with their lives. They might even have to take it from children, just so they can wipe their ass. That's not even survival. That's just so they can have a comfort and convenience of wiping their ass. Think if their survival was truly at stake. That's existence. Their system, this Saturnianism that we're all trapped in, makes people forget that they're actually fighting for life every day. Every time you go to the store to buy produce, you're simulating. The system itself is simulating hunting, fishing, trapping, growing, farming, foraging. So instead of you having to actually go do that shit to fight for your life every day, you go to the store. But how do you pay for that? By going to work. That's your work now. That instead of farming, instead of hunting, instead of fishing, you go to some job somewhere, trade your time for credits, and then you go take those credits at the store, simulate hunting to buy your meat. Like, everything is fighting for survival. Every time I'm sitting outside, just listening to nature and looking at the cats chase things down and the bugs eat each other and watch the ants on their eternal march for resources, everything is fighting for survival. It's all trying to continue into the future the best it can and replicate itself as many times as possible. Children. Whether you talk about single cells with their mitosis, or whether you talk about breeding animals like humans, or viruses that breed in your cells and use your body as a factory. They literally use your cells as a factory to produce more of itself. Like, that's just existence. Your DNA is trying to replicate itself, just like the viruses, because 96% of our DNA is viral. We're walking virus organ systems, just trying to replicate and replicate and replicate. Survive, survive, survive. Last as long as possible. Create as many copies as possible. That's existence. It is drama. It's not even the god of this reality's fault. It exists in that same drama. Just like it's not your fault or my fault that this place has to burn. We woke up in it one day. We're simply here, and it exists. The drama's all around us, whether we chose it or not. The god of this reality, the creator being, whatever the fuck people want to call it, Saturn, for this conversation, it woke up in it as well. One day it didn't exist, one day it did. And dominoes fell, events occurred, and we ended up here in its created reality, while it still exists in its own tier of reality. Dealing with whatever drama it has to deal with, including the drama that happens here. All the chaos that happens here, it has to make sure that order is maintained. Just me and you making videos, for example, talking shit about the Dookie Boy realm, is chaos. It has to make sure doesn't outgrow its system, or its system will collapse. And whatever it's getting from that system, whatever it's getting from this place being in existence, will be threatened by this place itself, because we're in it. And we don't like it. It's all drama. Reality is nothing but drama. Hence why I would like to erase all of it. And last but not least, whether it's God and the devil, or Sophia and the demiurge, or matrix simulation agents, I'm just sick of the drama, dude. I hear you. It's tiring. But it's not gonna just end. As long as existence exists, drama will ensue. That just is what it is. As long as there's a reality of any kind, there will be drama in it. Reality's trash. All these cartoon stories and shit and people's fucking retarded ass opinions, it's just gotten stale and old. I'm tired of the truth community and truth seeking. Truth community is somewhat annoying at times. I can never be tired of truth seeking. To me, it's like the only thing that's really fun around here. Like, you know, like, if I stopped truth seeking today, what would I be doing tomorrow? I'd just shoot myself. I'd have no reason to even be here. Like, if I'm not moving towards destroying everything in existence, I'm not moving. Because existence is drama. I want the drama to end, then I want the existence to end. So as long as I exist, I only have one direction to go in. But I understand what you're saying. I get it. From one silly ass drama story to another, on repeat. Fuck this shit. Fuck this reality. Fuck this God and its drama can suck all my fucking dick off. Take the whole dick in the throat. I'm just done, bro. It's whack. Same old silly ass dramas, fears, and paranoias on repeat. This shithole gets 2 thumbs down from me. I would agree. This is why I always say, burn it all, and preach to burn it all. Because there ain't nothing else for me to say. There's nothing else for me to preach here. I don't fuck with this place, and there's no redeeming factors. There's no redeeming qualities. I don't even like humanity. I think this is the most trash species I've ever seen. On this planet, it's definitely the most trash species in existence. Trash. Like, every last one needs to go. Because as long as they exist, their drama and bullshit will exist. Their systems and societies will exist. Saturn has its way. And then even beyond that, this reality. And then beyond that, the reality that this reality is encased within. Saturn's reality. The creator, the architect, etc. That thing's reality. Where it created our reality. That reality needs to go too. Because that was the domino that came before this one. Which means that one's also trash. Well, what's the domino that became before that one? That one's certainly also trash. If it wasn't, that reality wouldn't be as fucked up as it is to lead to this one. Like when I look at our video games and our movies, our TV shows, our books, and our simulations, and see how trash of realities they actually are. As much as we'd all love to have superpowers, if you actually look at Marvel's reality, it's ass, bro. Ass. DC ass. Who would want to live in that? The drama is outstanding. It's like, a lot of times I like to point to these things just to be like, look at their realities and then look at ours. We actually have it uneasy, and this is ass. Like, we don't have to fight superpowered beings. We don't have apocalypse coming or a dark side, or like, we don't have Dr. Doom. Like, we got fucking Joe Biden, Donald Trump, Bill Gates, some bankers, some families with names like Rothschild. They're fucking people who bleed. We have other monkeys to deal with. And that's trash as fuck. No wonder we create other realities that are also trash. We don't know how not to. No human could ever create a perfect reality. human is perfect and has never experienced perfection, because perfection doesn't exist. So the being that created this reality, look how trash our reality is, how trash do you think its reality is? And the being that created that being's reality, how trash do you think their reality is? And that goes all the way up to the top of reality. Wherever the base reality is, wherever the first tier of existence is, where the first domino fell when it came into existence, that hit all the other dominoes leading to this one, every one of those levels is trash. Because if they weren't, this could have never came into existence to begin with. Yet, here it is. Here we are, dealing with this trash. So yeah, it's all a shithole. All of existence is a shithole. And it needs to cease immediately. But I feel you. I understand the frustration. I get it. I truly get it. But I must say, honestly, as long as we're here, there's not much else to do but go against it and try to end it. Because as long as it exists, this shit exists. As long as there is existence, there is drama. Trash. Bullshit. Things eating things. Like, things dominating other things. Things creating things they should not be fucking creating. Simulations and simulacra and realms and... trash, 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 trash. Burn it all. So, that was that conversation. Figured I'd throw that out there for the folks. Shaylin, what's up? How do you deal with normies / low consciousness individuals in reality? Or IRL, in real life, etc.? You deal with them at the level they're at. Or you just don't deal with them, you know? It all depends on who you're talking to. Take them as deep as they can go. If you can drag them a little bit further, drag them a little bit further. If you can't, you can't. That is what it is. Or just don't interact with them as much as possible. Love sounds like a human concept to me. All is love. Yes and no. I mean, based on how humans consider love, absolutely. There is a human concept of love. But then there's a natural concept of love, and then there's different philosophical concepts of love. So it all depends on how you look at the word. But based on what humans understand of it, yeah, it's completely conceptual. Like 100%. Cosmix 92, yo Cosmix, yo. All right, there ain't nothing else here. No more comments, no questions, none of that good stuff. It's been like 3 hours. It's like 9:30 over here. I'm going to eat something, and then I'm gonna go smoke something, and then I'm gonna go rest this meat suit for a few hours. But yeah, I hope this turned out well. I'm about to go listen to it back. On that note, I wish you all chaos and warfare.